first pre-season at 15, came back when I could play when I was 16. I mean, me and George have been coming to the club since we were kids. We'd come down here every Saturday, watch the games, cause carnage behind the goal, just like you see the kids doing nowadays. So from a long time ago, but first started playing properly at 15. My first, when I could legally play men's football as it was then, you had to be 16 to play. So I had to go through a whole pre-season. My birthday wasn't until October, so I had to do the whole pre-season, do all that, and then wait until October to play. And then from then started playing with another group of young players from the local area, which was a really good start in football, yeah, especially playing for a club that meant so much to me.
You only really got involved with Littlehampton probably late 80s, even though when I was in my early 18 or 19, I was at Littlehampton reserves for a short spell, but I just wasn't good enough to hit the first team then, because they had a really good side and I just couldn't get in. So that's when I used to play for Wick for a few years, and then returned to Littlehampton after my spell at Arundel. Won the title at Arundel, and then I moved over to Littlehampton. Probably it was 87, and apart from about a year's absence when I went over to East Preston, the latter part of my career, I've been in Littlehampton ever since. Yeah.
I remember pre-season, obviously me and Mitch were doing it with Mark, and he just texted us one morning, literally the day of a friendly, and was like, I'm not doing it anymore, I'm not carrying it on. So obviously Matt, the chairman, said to us, we want you two to do it, and there was no way that we was, even if it wasn't the right situation, we was never going to walk away from the group that we had here, because we had built it from Littlehampton being the bottom of Div 2, County 1, whatever you want to call it now, and we'd worked so hard over them 2 years and not got what we deserved really, because we had cup finals that we didn't get to compete in, and obviously we got promoted, and I remember sitting down with the chairman and saying, don't get promoted and get me to a cup final in our first season back in County Prem. So me and Mitch walked out the changing room, we looked at each other and just said, we're going to win this league.
And the thing had built, and you know the team we got a reputation, and there was a bit of a buzz around it. People started to follow, and
I never felt a buzz like that for the club since '91, when we had a good season that year as well, because we got through to the semi-finals of the Vase that season, and it was the same vibe again. But when we lost 5-0 and then got reinstated, I said, at
Newham? We lost 5-0 at Newham.
Yeah. And then I thought, when we got reinstated, and I thought this could be the year.
Right. What about you, Shaggy? When did you first?
From about the age of 7, 8, like 91 season, really. Yeah. So and Dad used to take us along quite a lot. And then, like I say, I remember, like I said, brother on my dad's shoulders when they won the league and that, and he's still got that picture to this day. So. And it was unbelievable, So, and then now it's just kind of like, it's just lovely to see the town come together, you know what I mean? So I love Littlehampton, it's just like, it's lovely to see everyone come together, and it's a good buzz, you know what I mean? So no matter the game, it's just like, you know what I mean, going along, and even if we only get 20, 30 of us in the stand and that, it's a good laugh.
It's a good banter. Someone making noise.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Well, that's how we came to know, get new friends.
the Newham game, well, that was just an awful game. I mean, fortunately, if you like, we knew as soon as it kicked off, if you like, that we were going to appeal and it was going to be ironed out.
Because we were well beaten on that day. We really did have an off day, you know. Yeah. And then obviously Joe got injured, and it was just like, Christ, you know, whether the management, well, I'll say they knew. As soon as they put their team sheet in, we knew that Newham, they had a dodgy bloke in, that's why our lot were taking photographs of this bloke who was, as soon as they kicked off, I think the management team knew that that's it, they'll be out. But we didn't, as a committee and supporters, we were going, you know, geez, I'm a load of old, you know, this is all this journey and all this. And then just after the game, obviously I was clearing the kit up afterwards, and George made a sort of comment, and he said, "Don't worry, Bash," he said, "we're going through."
That was the one where they scored in the last minute.
He played about 7 or 8 minutes of injury time, almost. It was like Fergie time.
And we were 1-0 up, sending players off.
Was it more? It was 3-2 or something.
We were 3-2.
Oh, was it?
And then they went to 3-all.
Yeah.
Was that so they equalised to 3-all in the last?
Yeah.
Instead of penalty shootout.
It was like last
going
kick
and
of the
going.
game.
Reserve goalkeeper on loan from Worthing. Is that the what penalty
No,
shootout?
James was in goal that day. James was in goal that day.
Yeah.
He ended it and it went in.
Yeah, it just kind of like, there's nothing you could have done. It just kind of like, and it was.
But then you had their sub came along, giving it large on the side.
All
the fans kicked off.
They came out. They all slid in front of us on their knees when they scored the equaliser.
And all the
beer was going over them, and everyone was going mental.
And eventually it calmed down and went to penalties.
Yeah.
And that was the first experience of penalties, and then we put them away.
We won the penalties. Yeah.
your dreams, if you like, of any footballer to achieve, you know, but that sort of excellence, if you like. I mean, the two games I probably do remember is Gresley, because we went away to Gresley, and I'm sure that you've probably spoken to Steve Bates, and you've probably heard time and time again. We stayed in a hotel where Liverpool stayed, and you're a little bit in awe when you see these professionals coming down the stairs for dinner, and you're playing, and they basically understand that you're playing in a Vase game. So a lot of them have already played in that sort of competition many years ago, you know. So they understood what you were going through.
We had a really good side, and that was like from 80, 89, 90, 91, 92. We did really well in 91, obviously, and then Carl buggered off to Pagham to Pastures Green, so which we still rib him about it.
I've got a really vague memory of all the roads being chock-a-block with cars, because, you know, as a kid you know where you know about the town where you live, and you know what you see normally, and I just remember all these cars just everywhere, and I don't think I've been to many events with that many people, but it just seemed like the whole country was there watching it. Obviously it was only about 4,000 people, but just seeing all the temporary stands all banked with people, and yeah, it was pretty good.
I do recall when Northampton turned up, you know, and they were amazed at what they were finding, because afterwards I was privileged to be in with both the sides, because being on the county league, it was, you know, we were a hierarchy that day, and Bobby Barnes, their centre forward, said when we drew you, we said, Littlehampton, God, I bet we're playing on a playoff field somewhere. He said when we turned up, he said, blimey, it's better than ours.
I remember going to, you know, places on that run like Walthamstow, and yeah, went all over to watch that run. That was good. Yeah, I do actually. I remember a player in the. I don't know where this has come from, just all of a sudden, but we was watching a game at Walthamstow, and one of the Littlehampton players I think he had a tooth knocked out, or he had his nose busted up, or anything, something like that, and he finished the game with a bandage or something on his face. And then in the bar at the end of the game, my dad was talking to him, and he had a bar mat, using it to, you know, keep his lip from bleeding or whatever. And I remember me and my mate were stood there just looking up at this Steve Guile, his name was, and me and my mate was just looking up at him like it was Pele or something. Just couldn't believe my dad was having a chat with this guy. But yeah, that was such was the regard we used to hold him in.
it was Loughborough, and the buzz in the town was going
yeah.
especially semi-final of the Vase.
Yeah, it was into the unknown. We thought, are these young athletes?
Because
we're all part time. And they must be down the gym. They're going Loughborough study, or a sports.
It's them, academy. It's a football academy.
Specialise in sports. Now, are they going to just run circles around us?
Yeah.
But
we got the home draw. Do you remember how many of us were on the wireless waiting to see whether or not we got the home draw?
Yeah, I know.
We thought huge was going to be the 12th man.
What was it? Was it Talk Sport?
Talk Sport 2.
Showing the draw. Talk Sport 2. At like 2 in the afternoon or something. People going to sit outside work in their vans and listen to Talk Sport 2 to see whether or not Littlehampton got a home draw or not.
Yeah, I love football from a very early age. In fact, I used to go and watch Littlehampton as a nipper, because I arrived in Littlehampton from London aged about 10, and from that age I regularly watched Littlehampton a lot, and it made it so much more of a great big thing that I was playing for my sort of childhood team, like the team that I used to go and watch as a little kid. You know, he was actually playing from when you got to 15 and 16, and it felt really abnormal, you know, something fantastic, really. It was like playing for Liverpool or something, you know, how it felt. You really hit the big time, you know, of a team that you supported and watched for a few years, and then you were playing in the Bs, in the reserves, and then eventually the first team. And training in those days was not quite what it is now. They didn't have the floodlights that they've got now. All they had was a couple of floodlights from the main stand, which hasn't changed at all in the 50 odd years that I was playing for them. So therefore that little area of about 20 or 30 yards, which is where the beam went to, it was just a mud heap. So the rest of the ground, the pitch was quite nice and green, but the little bit where you used to do the training, it was just mud. And that was what it was like in those days, in the 60s. And well, I guess it was like that until they installed the floodlights, which is fairly recent, I guess. Well, I'm pretty sure my first game was Amberley for Littlehampton B. I said we went on the coach, so I thought I'd hit the big time. And I seem to remember the Amberley's pitch. I think they had to get rid of a few cows that were. It was a football pitch, but also it was a cow field as well. I think we had to sort of wait a bit for the locals to shoo the old livestock away.
So when we beat North Shields, I thought, yeah, we could get to Wembley here. And when we got the home draw against Loughborough, I thought, if we get going, I don't think they'll stop us with the big crowd we had as well. And I think when we beat Chai away in the RUR Cup, that's where I thought this is going to be our season. The Brockenhurst game here, which was the game after Newham, we had 5 suspended. And we signed Aaron Capon. We put in loads of 7 days to approach players, and we looked to see who wasn't cup tied for the Vase. And he signed, and he was unbelievable that day. And we said, if we sign him, we think we'll get him. He'll get us over the line as well to win the league. Obviously, it's very far off, but yeah. After that Brockenhurst game, being 3-1 up and then winning on penalties, we said before the game, if we beat Brockenhurst, we'll get to Wembley. Me and Mitch said that, and I'll be honest, I was banned, but I was hiding in the dugout when it went to pain, so I just couldn't watch it because I knew how close we were, and I fancied us against anybody. And then obviously the next tie, getting a home tie, was just like, yeah, it just kept not falling for us, but we were giving ourselves a bigger opportunity of getting to Wembley, and then obviously doing what we did in the semi-final, we just blew Loughborough away. It was like, it could have been anyone that day, and we were just on it so much when a lot of teams would have frozen. And it just, yeah, the fans obviously made a big difference, cheering, like making the noise and stuff. But yeah, just to have that just after Christmas, and then big games and just playing twice a week just kept everybody fresh, everybody hungry. Like, we were seeing each other every other day, which is really good football-wise. So if you have one bad result, you've got probably 48 hours, 72 hours to put it right. So, and obviously we did it more than we didn't. Really.
When you look at it logically, the amount of games we played in a short space of time, and like the magnitude of the games, like I remember the weekend. I think we played on the Friday night against Eastbourne United here, and then on the Monday at Pagham early morning, and then I think the Saturday after that was the Vase semi-final. Maybe, I'm not sure. I recently looked back at it, and I said to George, like, when you actually look back at our form for the last, 10, 15 games of the season, it was unbelievable. I can't believe the performances we were putting in and the results we were getting. Every single game was, like you said, quarter-final, semi-final, league decider. We couldn't drop any points. Saltdean won 10 out of their last 11 games. If we'd have dropped any points, we'd have been done. So, yeah, I mean, that stage of the season, it was a bit of a blur because every game, you didn't have time to concentrate on or get nervous about games because every single game just followed each other so quickly. But ultimately, I think that was a really good thing for us because you just didn't have a second to stop and think about what was going on. And it's almost up until now, like now's the only time where you can really look back on it, just think about how crazy it really was, the whole season in general.
Moving with the super sound, yeah.
2 years to see all the kids and everyone wearing Littlehampton shirts or scarves, or from the youth team. They're going into TLA, Littlehampton School, wearing their Littlehampton outfits or whatever. And
it's
it
amazing,
sort of, you could have Arsenal, Chelsea or whatever. But you have every other one. You've got a Littlehampton.
It's the same pomp in Littlehampton.
And like you say, it's lovely to see, isn't it? It's just like you're saying.
Well, it's not exactly elite though, is it?
A few years ago, who would have ever thought that? You know what I mean? So, like you say, when you got the stands of about 30 people in there, you know what I mean? It's just like, and then now you just kind of look and you think most weeks, it's a decent amount of people, isn't it? Like you say.
It is, but I'm already pining for the days. You know what I mean?
The shed.
The shed. Just a season or two ago, when we were getting, 1,000 people just coming for the league games.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like you say, it didn't matter on what game it was it? It was what we were turning up, and we were turning up in our numbers, and it was just. Didn't matter what game it was, like I said, we just all had a good laugh, and the team.
Momentum, that build, that whole thing came together and crescendoed into what was the Vase final, wasn't it? Never probably going to see it again.
No.
became more than just your local football team. Almost became more about your town, because it transcended sport. Like families got to go and be part of something bigger. Really, it's difficult to put into words.
Time hands you over to our commentary duo. Good afternoon, Kevin Davis and Dan Mason.
Thanks, Matt. What an occasion. Pieces tipped him out nicely last time. Too high for him on that occasion. On the spot! Newport Pagnell Town have taken the lead. Kieran Barnes with the goal of his dreams. Well under the circumstances, and they very nearly had a second goal. A wonderful save by James Binfield has just kept Littlehampton Town in this game. Costly that. It's Ben Shepherd, and now it's Danny Webb, and there's Watkinson, and there's Shepherd. Ben Shepherd. And Shepherd scores. Newport Pagnell Town are in dreamland. 3-0 up at Wembley, and surely heading for the FA Vase now.
What did it feel like to play at Wembley?
Yeah, very surreal. It was obviously, it's what we, as kids, when I was your age growing up, everybody wanted to play at Wembley. And stepping out on the pitch, even before we got changed into our kit, the ground was massive. It was really hot. But yeah, just to be there with everybody that I knew locally, being there supporting us, it was a feeling that will never be beaten. So we'll have to get us there one day again, won't we?
Yeah. Mitch, do you prefer playing outfield or being a manager?
Oh, really good question that is. I didn't expect you to ask me that, actually. Playing, nothing better than playing. But unfortunately, me and George, one of us had to stand on the side, and George is better than me, so that left me in the dugout. Yeah, but definitely playing. Good question.
Dion, you were top scorer this season. Do you reckon you can retain your title for next season?
Well, it's a good question. I hope so. That's the main object. Obviously, next year I'm hoping to play a bit further up on the pitch. With Joe Ben being out, I'm hoping I can take some goals and help the team to get to where we need to be. So, yeah.
Villa.